Oi, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another video here on youtube.com/DyllonKG. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of your gameplay reviews. We have a rank 9 pig game on Xbox, on console, and we're going to try to help this player to figure out exactly what they could do better, where they went right, what to keep doing, etc. Before we dive into this gameplay review, two things need to be said. First, in the comment section down below, be kind, be positive. We've all made mistakes, and I guarantee that your gameplay is not perfect. Two, hit that sub button if you guys want to submit gameplay to be reviewed. Also, head on over to Discord. You'll be able to send your submissions in an open forum there, or you can Discord DM me. But let's go ahead and dive right in here. We do have Pig. This is the Blood Lodge Auto Haven Wreckers. Let's go ahead and bump the volume down a little bit here. Our build is going to be Monitor and Abuse, Save the Best for Last, Whispers, and Barbecue and Chili. This is very much a typical pig build if they're using stealth a lot, and at rank 9 a lot of people are going to be using stealth. The idea is that Whispers goes off before the survivors can hear your terror radius, and that's when you know to crouch and then, you know, go after them, right? Or to press them. So right now it looks like that's what's happening. We're gonna be pressing this gen to our right here. They don't see anybody running away, doesn't look like, but nobody's immediately here. The thing about this to remember is that survivors have a third-person camera. So if we move back just a little bit, the odds of the survivor kind of having walked like any of these sides, right? The survivor could have walked here and then walked around to the other side. That's really important. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but like right here, you just check the locker, and then it seems to walk away. I don't know. I maybe would have checked around the jungle gym a little bit more. This is a small thing because this is just going to happen sometimes. And if I can't find a survivor within like 10 seconds, I just walk away. So, and that was the call here. You kind of backed off. Now, the one thing I'll say in terms of the gens here is you're kind of protecting, I think, the worst gen generally, right? If you see here, you have like 1 gen, 2, you know, you got this 3 gen in the back. So you already have like 5 gens in your sights. And so conceivably there are 7 gens that spawn. You have like 1 off near the shack, and then you have this one behind you. The one behind you, so this one that you just hit and the one off to the shack, those are actually further from everything else. We talk about this in a how to 3 gen video that we'll put on the screen right now. But I think what's really important here, especially on Blood Lodge, because this map is tough right now. And it's gotten a little bit easier with the rework. This is the old Blood Lodge. But what I will say is really at the end of the day, be sure that you're paying attention to where you want to put the most pressure, right? Because right now you're putting a lot of pressure in a far corner, and that's going to allow people to pop, you know, these easy far away gens while you're in this far corner. So if you're looking at 3 gens and where to apply a 3 generator pressure, I mean, this is the 3 stack, right? The Blood Lodge 3 stack. That one's on the lodge, that one's in the corner or in the rocks near the corner, and that one's off in the jungle gym. That one's really good. Really what I would have done at the beginning of this match is drawn kind of an imaginary line, cut the map in half, and said, you know what? I don't care a lot about these 2 gens, right? Because even if there is only 1 person back here, there's only 1 survivor. And that's the other thing to know, is there's only 1 survivor back here. So how many other survivors are there, and where are they? There could be 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Hell, for all we know, there could be, you know, at this given point in time, there could be 2 here, 1 here. You know, because if a survivor spawns by themselves, then 3 other people spawned elsewhere. Or survivors can spawn 2 and 2. So regardless, anyway, keep this all in mind. At the early game, you have a lot of like processing to do. And in your first encounter, you found nobody at that last gen. It leads me to believe that only 1 person was back there and that 3 other people are elsewhere right now. So, and again, it seems like you really want to exert pressure on this one or try to catch the survivor off guard. So something to keep in mind. Good hit there. Good hit. Save the best for last stack. She didn't choose to play the loop. She just kind of ran to shack. She didn't early throw pallet, so maybe she's trying to make good use of it. You hear the gen behind you, and you decide to go back for it. That's really smart. That's really, really smart. That's a really, actually, that's something that's like really commendable right here. At this given point in time, you know that there are a bunch of people right here, right? And so instead of chasing the Meg and ignoring the gen, what a lot of people do here, and this is something that goes out to all of you, what a lot of people do here, you're chasing the Meg, and right now, you don't really know it, but there's people on that gen. There are. You don't really know that right now. What a lot of people would do is laser focus the Meg and then ignore the gen. But at this point, you hear the gen and you hear how progressed it is. Like right now, almost all these pistons are firing. This thing's like 80 to 90% done. And you see Dingledorf right here. So this is really smart. This is a really smart play. Now, you do lose your save the best for last stack. You only had one stack, right? So not a big deal. At that point in the game, take the hit, right? Always take the hit. And then you hear somebody else is still on the gen, and you're like, hold on. Good hit. Yeah, so that's really smart. And then she misplayed. Yep, there she goes. She misplayed that one. That's two save the best for last stacks. And then that is a trap. Now, let's see what happens. Okay, so what I would have done differently is I would have kicked the generator, and this is small, this is up to you, but I would have kicked the gen while I was still here, and then picked her up and carted her to the hook. The biggest reason is because time efficiency, right? You just want to be as efficient as possible, right? So if you kick the gen and then walk her there, the gen is regressing for the next 5 to 10 seconds. You don't have to double back and kick it. You can immediately go start putting pressure like wherever these nerds ran, because you know it's so unlikely that this team ran all the way out to the other side of the map right now. Like very, very unlikely. So you know they're like somewhere back here. So I would have kicked the gen first, then did the hook, and then just immediate pressure on the team. Because you know they're probably hanging around somewhere. They really want that gen done, right? I would if I were a survivor. There's one gen in the back corner where your 3 gen was. Not a bad idea to be here instead of in that corner like what I mentioned at the beginning. This isn't terrible. See, now you have to double back. You have to kick it. Now it starts regressing instead of getting like 10 seconds of extra regression. Let's take a look. Now, what I would do here, be sure that when you're, and this is, I don't know, this is a weird thing. It's hard to pick up and learn, but I would be swiveling my camera so hard into the shack right now to see where people are, right? Like I would be panning my camera. Are they hiding in the shack? Is there any blood in the shack? Did they just vault the window? Are they looping around the shack to get the unhook to touch the gen? Like pan your camera way more. I know on console, this is a really difficult thing to do, is to like pan the camera, but like I'm really scared someone's going to get behind you, get this unhook or pop that gen right on you. Let's take a look here, though. Whispers is going off. Yes, so there's like the immediate unhook right here. So again, kind of what we talked about a little bit. This gen could go to hell. This gen is so far out of the way. Look how far you had to walk to get to it. And there's like, and it's in a strong tile, and this gen needs to go to hell. All right. The minute they get this unhook, I would have doubled back, right? Like if you unhook within my terror radius, I'm not a tunneler. I would have gone after like the person who did the unhooking, but like to go to this gen and then kick it, we'll see how it plays out in the late game. I'm a little bit nervous about that choice. You stop and you're like, do I go back? Nah, I'm going to kick this. Even though there's a gen right near that hook that is going to get popped if 2 people sit on it. And then you crouch up. I'm not sure why you stealthed here. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. So that's the big thing I'll also say. I think when it comes to Pig, I think the weakest thing in her toolkit is stealth. And your whole build right now is built on stealth, right? So I think there's really, you have to know when to use it and when to not. I think stealth is really, I think stealth is really good early game, right? But when you got to get places and make things happen, I think the stealth is letting you down a bit here. There also may just be some general game sense where it's like, I think here you kick the gen and I think you're like, oh, they're going to go for the box that's closest to them. They have a hat on, right? But as a Pig player, like in my opinion, like I've played Pig at rank 1 a lot. I play with no slowdowns, you know, kind of the same style here, no slowdowns like what you have. And I think the issue here is I don't really necessarily want to pressure that box. I want whoever's got this damn hat on to go from box to box to box to box. Now, I might pressure it just by existing, but stealthing here doesn't seem to make sense to me. Like, this is just me, of course. I could be wrong here, but like, Stealthing gets rid of your terror radius. I would want my terror radius to be very known and very present so that they run away from the box and go find a different one or something, right? I don't know that stealthing here was the play unless you were going for the down, and even then, I don't think stealthing was the play here at all. And now I don't know that stealthing would have saved that gen from popping. I don't think it would have. I think going all the way to that corner and kicking that gen was a colossal misplay, but we'll see how it goes from here. So let's see what happens. I still think the stealth is a little bit off. And with Whispers, I mean, Whispers still has a huge radius, right? Okay, so we saw the Meg over here. I don't know. See, and I don't know if you saw that. We'll back up just a sec here. This is a small thing. And obviously, in hindsight, it's easy. But I see one little nerd right here. She was trying to make... And honestly, it's a smart survivor play. But as you keep walking... She's literally right here. And then she even tries to double back, I think. Yeah, she tried to double back a second. So let's see how you play this, but yeah, you didn't need to take that stun. So one thing to know about Survivor in general is that she ran the short side of this. If she's running this side, that makes this an unsafe pallet. Long wall gyms, or I'm sorry, pallet gyms are super, super unsafe if they run the short side. If they run the long side, you're going to have a tough day, right? As Pig, you're going to have less of a tough day. But what you could have kind of done, there are some red light mind games you could have played with Pig. There are other ways to do it. You could have actually stopped here as Pig and like crouched and then did your rush all the way around, or the other way, depending on where she was. I'm not sure that you knew she was here, or like that she was here. So that's kind of why the stun happened. But just keep that in mind. Just a little bit of awareness. Yeah, because you definitely didn't have to take that stun. Let's see what happened. We get the stun. Do you break it? Good. This is super smart. All right. You saw that she broke it, or you saw that she threw it. She threw it, and then she was gone. She had no intention of really playing the pallet. And you kind of know this based on her angle, right? So she didn't hug the wall here or run this way, right? She ran out, all right? If a survivor throws it and then runs outwards, generally you don't have to break the pallet, because breaking the pallet is an additional 2.5 seconds of wasted time. They can make a good like 10 meters of distance on you. So this is really smart. Good pressure to keep up here. She's not going to throw this. And now this is incredibly smart. You decided to do this, but that didn't work out. So let's see what happened. I think this is just an aim thing. Being on controller is tough, right? So I think you thought she was going to keep rounding the corner here. So I think you thought she was just going to run this normally. And so you turned inwards, and then she was like, nope. This is a pretty common controller thing you see. Because they can't do full 360s very well. So you'll see this a lot. Just be careful. Just pay attention to this stuff. Work on the sensitivity stuff with your control. It takes a lot of time. It does. I play on PlayStation a lot. It's still it's very tough. So it is what it is. A little whiff, a little over aim, a little bit overzealous on the second hit there. This Meg feels like a freaking god right now. She knows she's about to get clapped though. She's actually running this a little wider than she could. Let's see if you can get her here. I think this is going to be a pallet stun. Yep. Now, again, what you could have done, we're going to back up here. Just how to play this better. Play the pallet a little bit better. Actually, let's back up a little bit further. So you whiff this one. Not a big deal. You could recover from this. Like, it's one whiff. It's not like a pattern of, like, missing hits, you know. She's running that wide. She's giving you a lot of space. Now, she runs this way, but she's hugging this object here. So it's clear she's trying to stay here. Like, she doesn't think she could make it anywhere else. So what I really would have done is I would have kind of walked this way, kind of like what you do. And then I would have doubled back into the pallet to see if she's going to stick. If she's going to stick near this set, then again, you could do the exact same thing you just tried, where you crouch as the pig and then you hit her, right? So you could have played that differently. You could have got it down here. Easy. Right, and it's clear, all right, at this point, she's like, okay, I'm going to make the pallet, right? So at this point, you backtrack, you throw her off, and then you do what Pig does really, really well, and you use your crouch to cut her off on a short loop. But, unfortunately, you pursued this normal M1. Maybe after missing the first, like, lunge ambush attack, you felt maybe a little bit rattled. Now here, I don't... you take the stun, and she's gone. She is quite gone. Here's... You break the pallet here. I wouldn't have broken this pallet. Yes, you do need to break pallets eventually, but I would have just walked around it. We'll see how that pans out. It may not be a big deal, but she got so much distance. She got like 10 meters on you. Now you crouch here. I think you were thinking you were going to cut her off. This doesn't work, all right? And I'll tell you why this just immediately doesn't work. All right, where's Meghead? So she breaks, you break that. All right, so where's Meg? So Meg right now is off in the distance having a wonderful time, singing the Jetsons theme song. So she's out there, and as of now, actually, she is, like, here. So she's not even made it to, like, the actual lodge. So let's see what happens here. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so she's right here. So your thought process is, okay, here she is. She's going to go this way, and then I'm just going to cut her off. The problem with that, again, is we have to keep in mind the third-person perspective of survivors. Survivors, if she's panning her camera remotely, like at all, she'll see that you don't follow her. She'll see that you're not behind her. You have to think about this. So she's here. She is right here. Glorious stick figure. And she sees that you're not here. Why would she keep running this way? So I don't know what happens next. My theory is that she's going to double back on you, is that she's going to actually go this way. She's not been a dumb survivor. She's not the smartest, but she's played very well. And you have to know that, like, simple tricks aren't going to get her. So let's see what happens. Might get her. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you're waiting on her. Yeah, this is literally waiting on her. So this is huge wasted time. This is like 5 seconds of doing absolutely nothing, putting pressure on the side of the map. What I also will say real quick, you've lost 2 gens. This side of the map is really not the side of the map I would be on anymore, right? So, like, I think you have a gen in this corner, but, oh, hold on, that's Shack. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so you have, like, a gen here and a gen here. You're not really exerting a ton of pressure between both of these by chasing out to this side of the map. So this is a little spooky, but that's what happens when you don't 3-gen early. We'll kind of see what happens here. I'm a little spooked out by, like, the position. That gen's already done in that corner. You can't hear any other gen being done right now. You have pressure on maybe one survivor, but you lost them by trying to, like, over mind game. Yeah, they're gone. I don't even know where that Meg went. She's gone. She outplayed you. Yeah, so don't try to overcomplicate things. Like, run directly. Okay. That's not on you. That is... Yeah. Yep. Yeah, again, you did really well the first time, but I wouldn't have kicked that pallet. She's clearly getting the hell out of there. I don't know how that missed. That's insane to me. I wouldn't have broken this pallet. I would have walked around. I also don't know that I would have taken the stun. I would have respected that pallet. Why take a stun if you're not going to get the hit? There was no way that hit was ever going to pop off for you. So... yeah, I don't know. I don't know that kicking the gen's the smart play here, because if anybody comes back and touches it, it doesn't. Oh, you didn't even get the full kick on it. Okay. Okay, so some minor, like, just, like, regular old mistakes here. This gen did regress all the way. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. I think I just heard somebody crouch walking. I am not 100% sure, but I would dare to dream that somebody is right here. I'm not sure, but I swear that even on this recorded gameplay, I can hear grass moving. Nobody's here. I wouldn't check here because the gen's not being worked on. So even if somebody's there, it's of no concern to you. So, yeah. So right now, finding people is a huge issue. And then using stealth in a way that doesn't make sense. Like, right now you're able to find people because they have... what they have done is they went from having... alright, so we'll do, like, there's 7 gens. I'm just gonna put dots on the map. It doesn't mean anything. 6... okay, 7. So that's 7. So there are 7 gens. As they eliminate gens... so, like, I don't know, some weird sporadic pattern. As they eliminate gens, the places they could be starts to shrink. All right, so they could only really be here, right? So that's the only reason you're finding them. So I think working on finding people faster and then closing chases faster. Good hit. Claudette got hella stuck on that. Yeah, that's a good old-fashioned controller stuck. What I will say here is eliminating the pallet earlier, like what you did, actually is what got you this down. So good stuff. Good play. Had that pallet been up, you may have had to deal with it now. Even though this Claudette was bad enough, I don't know that she would have capitalized on it. Breaking the pallet early so that in the late game you have more pressure is completely how it should be played most of the time. What I will say is by not breaking pallets in the early game, you maybe would have got more downs sooner. So it does counterplay itself to some degree. Eventually in late game strategies, I don't know why the crouch happened here. Okay. So that like oddly worked out? That shouldn't have worked out. So you saw him. I know you saw him. There's no way you didn't see him. I smelled him through the screen. So, okay, yeah, he's like, hello. So I don't know. He's your obsession, I think. Was that the whole point? Yeah, I think that was the whole point. He's your obsession. That's a long haul. Okay. Is what it is. I don't know that I would do this. This doesn't make sense. You wasted a little bit of distance. All right. I would say, you know, good hit there. 100%. You started that crouch way too soon. As you get into higher levels, what a lot of survivors are just going to 100% do to you is they're just going to wait. They're just going to go this way and then this way. They're just going to see, because this is a really wide spot and you're blind and they're blind, right? If you can see them, it makes Pig a lot easier, right? But yeah, this was a good hit. Good job. If he were smarter, if like I would have saw you crouch, I would have just ran the wide angle. That way you had to stand back up and keep coming. That would have been the smart play. He panicked and went right for the pallet. I would have gone 100% the long way because you would have had to stand back up. I don't know what exhaustion perks or anything he has, but yeah, he kind of. Okay, that's not bad. That you know, you'll refine that as time goes on. So good party favors. So there is 2 party hats in play right now. People are going to really be trying to get those off of themselves. So that is going to slow the gen progress down a little bit. You did pass. You just walked right by a hook. So okay, hold on. Let's see what's the strategy here. Let me have faith in you. What's the strat here? So are we gonna go to this this hook here? Oof, 1 gen left. Okay. Let's see. So I think right now you are trying to put this hook in the middle of several gens. So there's a gen here. There's a gen here, and there's a gen here. So I think you're trying to put the hook in the middle where you'll have, like, constant pressure. Not a bad idea. I don't know the right answer there. I think that was probably the best play. Considering it's right next to a hill, it's also a really, like, it's such a weak tile to spawn right there. We have Yui. Yui's been injured, never downed. There is no pallet. Again, good job breaking the pallet. You are being looped away from your hook, though. Yeah, you got to be careful of that stuff. Good respect. She is going to play the pallet. You need to leave. You need to break it or leave. This is dicey. Could work. You're crouching too soon, though. I will say that. You're crouching really, really soon, and that's giving them time to go. So here's the thing. As people learn how to play against Pig, the minute you crouch at a loop, people are going to go, oh, she's going to dash. And they're going to try to get as much distance on the long side of objects. You're crouching really, really, really early and then getting into position instead of going, you know what, I need to get in position, then crouch, then. So I think the order is a little bit off here because, yeah, she's like, oh, I'm just going to keep running it. You were hoping she would vault it, I'm sure. And then you would get her on either side, but not going to happen. You are also, like I said, chasing away from your generators. There you go. Smart. Going back to your gens. Right now, this match is so far out of your hands, but yeah, I still wouldn't chase her. I still wouldn't chase her. There's no pressure on generators right now. And one person could be working on him and slamming him. I don't know. At this point, this match is so far potentially gone that again, a right answer is it just depends on what happens next. Like, she just miffed this pretty hard. Okay. So the tracking with the controller is a little bit rough. So I would work on controller. One piece of advice I have on controller in general is not ever... Okay, listen to this. Listen to this like ASMR. Let's hope you can hear it, right? So... You know what that sound is? That sound is you turning the control stick all the way to the left or all the way to the right. And that's what it feels like is happening. I'm not sure. I would get used to having more control over smaller movements, if that makes sense. So, right, like you can... When you move left or right, you can hear that clicking because it's the control stick hitting the plastic, the edge. Try to not hit the edge when you turn. Now, if you see that people are doing like 360s or trying to spin you, just stop moving. So like right here, that also wasn't a lunge. That was just a normal M1. So the button didn't get held, I don't think. But like in that case, like she was hoping to spin you, just stop moving. And what would happen here is just stop for a second. And then if you stop here, she's just going to spin like she's just going to go whoop right into you. Because spins don't actually grant them distance. Spins just get them around you. So if you just stop and pivot instead of like constantly trying to move forward, that might help you a little bit too. So yeah, you should have hit that. Honestly, I feel like you should have hit them at the end of that attack anyway, but yeah. So yeah, I would just work on like not turning so hard on the stick. Somebody got their hat off. So yeah, you really got a cap here. You might be able to... Yep, she has dead hard. Yep, you definitely always keep in the back of your head somebody's probably going to have dead hard, right? It's okay. You just got to get this trap on before the last gen pops. I would have kicked that. I would have after the trap. There you go. Smart. Good stuff. Yeah, any of these... Honestly, that back corner gen's the one I'd worry about. You were just near the one on the left and it was fine. I would have hooked in the middle again. You had the right idea the first time. Barbecue doesn't show anyone in the corner, so just protect this gen. Yeah, protect the shit out of it for a while. Wait, is it sparking? I can't see. It's a 720p recording, so I'm not sure. I didn't see anybody back here, but if they suspect you have barbecue. Yeah, Whispers is off, so nobody's here. If Whispers is off, I wouldn't even be in this corner. I wouldn't even be here. Nobody would be at this trap box. There's no reason to be here right now. There's none. 0%. Like, Whispers is not popping right now, baby. There is no reason to be in this corner. Get out of here. Get. I would go... It sucks. It sucks, but, like, the gen you're trying to protect is over that way. You need to go back to that gen. Because none of the other ones have progress. You might lose the match just because you let up too much pressure. Remember, Whispers is not popping off right now. Oh, you chose to break this pallet. No, if two people sit on that gen for more than, like, 5 seconds, it's going to be a rough life. There are scratch marks. Yep. I would have protected that gen. They're the best for last stack. There you go. You knew he was the obsession. You didn't try to crouch attack him or do anything crazy. There you go. Good hit there. He's probably still around, though. So I would take a peek. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. I was going to say, take a little peek, see who's around, if anyone, before picking her up. Don't just tunnel vision on the hook. This will be your second hook state for Claudette. That's a good spot to be in. I definitely would hook here. That's, yeah, just the fastest. Get it out. Get done. The others know they need to go on other gens. Pan to your left, pan to your left, pan to your left. No, this is not the play. Okay, so the reason... well, okay, subjectively, not the play. So you have barbecue and chili. You need to know if that generator is being worked on. You need to put pressure on the gen behind you. I mean, at this point, I think you're grasping at straws knowing, all right, somebody could be here, right? Somebody could be here trying to get their trap off. I just need to rehook that person, right? There is an obsession. So D-Strike could be in play, right? And was she unhooked 60 seconds ago? It's hard to say. I would have left her alone. She's not a problem right now, necessarily. Yeah, you didn't even use your barbecue here, so not the biggest fan of this, but we'll see. It might work out for you. You're just gonna slug her, okay? A little bit of honor. Gotta go back to this gen though. It's really hard for me to tell. I don't see any crouch walkers. That gen's regressed to like roughly a 60%, so that's good. You've got a lot of good time on it. The team is kind of in your hands now. Yep, you would have saw somebody out here with your barbecue earlier, but you don't need to be here now. I think you'll find the higher you get in rank, the less people are just going to hide in lockers. So I would, honestly, real talk, stop checking them. That's a weird thing for me. As you get, like, green into purple, stop checking the lockers. It's not helping you. Yeah, she gets pallet. She'll early throw, too. She didn't early throw. Interesting. Always count on them early throwing. Oh, you released early. She's going to get the stun. How is she not making this happen? A lot of mistakes on both sides. This Meg should have thrown that like a year ago. And you should have went for another swing. If you miss one of your ambushes, you get really demoralized. There you go. You have a tendency to be like, I'm not doing this anymore. There you go. Good job on the turning, not letting it go too soon. Yeah, you got to get her up. The gen to your right is being worked on as we freaking speak. Like, it is about to go, like, any second now. Like, I'm sweating right now. Who gives a damn about barbecue? Go to that gen. Yeah. Who gives a damn about barbecue? So that's one thing I would say to work on is, like, the immediate urgency of, like, okay, what was the last gen that had a lot of progress, all right? If there's, like, if there's a gen and there's a hook by the gen, and that gen had a ton of progress, you can bet your giant tushy that once they get unhooked, they might heal, and then they're going to get right back on that gen. So I at this point, I would have hooked and then got my ass over there ASAP. I feel like as you get better, as you play more, you'll really hone in on those decisions. So it just takes time and effort. But this Claudette's dead if you get her, so with full stack of Save the Best for Last, you just gotta hope she doesn't get to, like, Fun Bus or anything. Yep, she completely neglects all of her potential great areas to be in. She decides to loop a rock. So that's some rank 9 stuff. Yeah, that's some green rank stuff. You're getting a little bit stuck on objects and stuff, too. Again, as you get better on controller, you'll get used to that. Yeah, you need to go right to that hook and then right to that gen. You have one death, and these guys are about to, like, they're, like, really not playing well. They are missing opportunities. Yeah, you need to go right to this gen. You need to kick the shit out of it, too. Yeah, I would go kick that gen before you start chasing anybody right now. In the late game, you need as much slowdown as you can, in my opinion. And since you don't know where this person is, you're just wandering around. Now, if you knew where they were... Okay, so there's, like, a really distinct difference, right? If you knew where this survivor was, so, like, right here, right? If you knew, like, if he was standing right here, chase his ass, you know, get him. You don't know where he's at. And so you're going to waste 10 seconds slaloming around trying to find him and then come back and kick the gen, right? So, again, give the gen as much regression as you can. Now, like I said, if you see him, get him. But right now, it's not worth it. Because, okay, keep this in the back of your head. Scratch marks take 7 seconds to disappear. So the scratch marks that you just saw on the ground were like 6 seconds old. 6 seconds is like they got like 25, 30 meters of distance on you. They're gone. You're not going to close that gap anytime soon. But they do need to come back to you. They need to come back and finish these gens. So kick this one and then head immediately to the next one or whatever. Get up on the hill, try to find somebody farting around out here. You're using your ears really well when it comes to listening to the gens. You don't hear the gen on your left being worked on. The one on your right isn't being worked on. So you just need to focus on the one gen. And there's no such thing as camping a gen. If you don't want a gen to get finished, sit on that bitch. You know what I mean? I hear some wounded something or another. There she is. Good job. She's not an obsession, so this should be an easy cap. She does have Dead Hard. Do you remember? Good pick up there. Except you swung late after the Dead Hard, and then you completely almost lost her. Spooky. Yeah, work on the panning. Work on the panning a little bit. It just takes practice. Oh, man. Yeah. So here's another really important tip about getting spun. That chase should have been done. Should have been done. Easy, right? What is happening here is so the closer the survivor is to you. So if a survivor is here and you're here, let me back this up a bit. So say this is the survivor and this is you. Now, if a survivor spins here, they don't really get much, right? Like they just kind of end up moving into you, right? Because at that point you could just be like, hi, hello. So that's not a big deal, right? Survivors can spin you a lot better, though, if you are, like, right here. Because at that point, if they spin you and they spin you wide, you have a high potential to overspin, to over rotate, to whiff, etc. So what's kind of going on here is that you're way too close. You're not really sure of your lunges. So what you're trying to do is get real close, right? And then hit. And not even that's working, right? So instead of trying to, it seems like you're trying to supplement like the lack of control on your aim. Because these aren't really auto aim mistakes. These are just whiffs right at this point. And this happens. And it's not anything to be ashamed of. I think everybody, especially on console, goes through this. But I would say instead of supplementing your inability to like aim with the lunges as well, instead of supplementing that with being closer, I would just work on aim, especially with experienced survivors. So let's see what happens. So at this point, she goes, no. Yep, and you just kind of ran past her there, is what it is. And then she's going to get the pallet. This could lose you the whole game. The 2 whiffs. Yep. After the pallet's gone there, like I said earlier, with over here, having that pallet down, a lot of smart survivors, you can't play that car very well. There you go. Good hit. Do not take her to the basement for the love of everything. I would work on picking people up faster, too. There's kind of this, like, where are they? And then you get to pick them up. I would just mash RB immediately. Unless you're, like, looking for flashlight saves or something like that. It's good. 2 deaths. That's a good spot to be in. Everybody's on that back gen. Yep. Be sure you remember you have barbecue. I think that's an important part. You might get a 3rd kill here. Despite the early game being an absolute mess, this team actually shot themselves in the foot by not being very objective-oriented. This Meg is also a bad runner. We saw that at the beginning. You turned into her. Good job. You waited really late to swing, and that was scary. She's going to hit the window. There you go. Smart. If you had doubled back a little sooner, you would have caught her at the slow vault, but if you ever... And this goes for, like, anybody. I'm trying to teach in a way that's, like, everybody can get it, right? So let's hit play. So she's going in. The minute she starts to look like she's going to turn, like she's like, I don't know. I would kind of start drifting to the right. Keep your red stain so that it's like aimed at the door, right? But I would have started kind of drifting off to the right a little bit, like, what's she about to do? And then right here, she's straight up about to go for it, right? So yeah, at this point, because right now you're so far to the left. Like if you had drifted right, you'd be able to hop the corner and just go get her as she hits the slow vault, or she'd have to keep running the loop, right? Yep. And so you entered the doorway a little bit far. That's the only thing I'll say is like you don't really want to enter the doorway. You know she's hitting the jump at this point. Now she might fake it. She might fake it. At this rank, super unlikely. And we've seen this Meg run. She ain't faking it. All right. So you'll notice she still has the item in her hand. And so this might be the reason that you stayed, right? If you guys didn't know this, the minute they queue a fast vault, the items in their hands disappear. So at this point, you might be like, item's still there. Is she going to do it? And you kept moving forward. I don't know that I would have moved forward. I would have stayed out here and just waited just a second longer. Small stuff, small adjustments. I think you could have capped. I think you actually maybe could have swung and got her. Unless she has, like, resilient spine chill. Interesting. It's hard to say. She's going to get this pallet, though. For sure. Oh, my God. She has a real hard time deciding when to throw pallets. Good job on the patience. Good job not swinging. That's exactly what you need to do to people that spin you. Just don't swing. Just don't swing. Catch up to them. Get the guaranteed hit. This is going to be a 3rd kill. This is a really good job. There's a lot of stuff to work on in the early game. And there are some things I called that, like, you know, I don't think this person's going to come back. That'd be insane if they did. Ain't no way. There's Hatch to your left. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah, they should leave. You got a lot of hook states, which is good. You got 6, 7, 8 hook states. I think 9. You got everybody hooked once. So you got at least 9 hook states out of a maximum of 12, right? So not a bad spot to be in. It's good, and that means your points at the end of the match are going to be good, right? You used your ability a lot, too. So, no boop. They did not want to boop to Snoot. So, yeah, I mean, like, at the early game, I think the biggest thing... Towards the end, when you stopped using stealth and you were just going for it, you started being way more successful. I think the biggest problem you were really running into is one, overusing the stealth, and then 2, prioritizing the wrong sides of the map. Honestly, like, the gen you're at here, in my opinion, and this gen are ass. You have all of this, and I would have, even if this popped and this popped, I would have gone out here and done a lot of work. Now, everything sort of worked out for you in the end, but that's because the survivors dropped the ball. And you don't really ever want to put yourself in a position where you're relying on survivors to make mistakes, because as you get to higher and higher and higher ranks, the mistakes are going to become... They're still going to make mistakes, but they're going to be far less punishing for them to make, right? And so you really want to, from the get-go, put yourself in a good position. So you had a gen here, a gen here, a gen here, a gen here, a gen here. And... So I don't know, again, because where this gen is strong tile compared to, and then combined with the shack, it's just a tough spot to be in. When you spawn into a map, always check to see where the gen concentration is. This whole corner of the map is complete ass. There's nothing here, and the gens take forever to get to. Somehow this worked out for you again. So the second thing is I think on Pig, and I'm not a professional Pig player, I would go check out Scorpions. I think being smarter with the stealth is important, right? And at some point, if people are bailing, if you're using stealth and they're like, hell no, they got spine chill, right? At that point, your stealth doesn't really mean a lot. So if you find that people are avoiding you, even if you're stealthing, just abandon that whole notion altogether, right? It doesn't make your build worthless, but at the end of the day, it gets a little spooky. And honestly, at this rank, people are probably running spine chill a lot. There's a lot of ghost faces running around, a lot of Mikeys, things like that. So, good early game pressure. Good job splitting the pressure. The big thing I would work on. So the big takeaways is I would think about what stealth, like, this is situational. So definitely be able to flex around this idea, and like it's got to be a switch. It's got to be an on-off switch. You got to be able to go like, okay, this isn't that kind of match, right? Number 2 is just hits, like landing hits. You would have maybe got 4K if you'd landed the hits on the Yui at that last chase. So I would work on landing the hits. Just again, that's a mechanics thing that's going to get better over time. But really, if you put more energy and emphasis on it, it'll get better. There are no perks that are going to make landing hits easier, right? Especially on console. So you can't really overcompensate that. And the third thing is learning how to play pallets, right? So that's the other thing, right? As Pig, definitely you have the right idea with the ambush in certain areas, but when you were going up against the Meg at the pallet, all right, instead of, here, let's fast forward a little bit here. So we got the Yui hooked early. So when we were over here, this Meg, that was whiffing the hit, not a big deal. Patience, young Padawan right there. So this hit, I would have... So you got that. That was good. You didn't play this pallet. She went out here. You went over here. You should have doubled back. Maybe did another ambush. You didn't have to get stunned by that at all. And earlier, you got stunned by the same Meg at a pallet at the pallet gym. You didn't have to get stunned by it. So this is a really long informational video, but I think playing the pallets, right, when there was the Yui over here, and she dropped the pallet, you tried to ambush her, she was too smart for it. You're really at that rank right now where you're going to find growing pains in not knowing how to efficiently work around pallets, not take stuns, etc. So I think that's the biggest thing to really work on. But you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below. This is a long video, but I like these long form videos. I hope that you guys watch them most of the way through, and I hope you appreciate them. It's a really deep dive. I think overall this player did a really good job at cleaning up towards the end. It's just faster decision making, getting the hits, playing the pallets a little bit cleaner, and that could have been a 4K with 3 gens left, really. Well, 2 gens probably, because that's where they mostly end up. But what do you guys think down below? Of course, let me know. I got a few things for you. Unclench your jaw, of course. All right, get some water, get some sunshine, and I'll pray to the entity to see you guys in the next videos. So have a good one.